Well, as they lose territory, they will do everything and anything to gain hearts and minds. That appears to be the current strategy of so-called Islamic State. Iraqi government forces have retaken Mosul, and U.S.-backed Kurdish forces are now pushing forward with their assault on IS's capital, Raqqa, in Syria. Islamic State is facing certain defeat on the territory where it once declared the creation of a new caliphate. But the loss of territory doesn't mean the danger from the jihadists will end. It was just 7 months ago when an attacker was inspired by so-called Islamic State and drove a truck into a Christmas market here in Berlin. 12 people were killed. IS has called on its followers to attack wherever and whenever they can. The Berlin attack was one of at least 3 attributed to the so-called Islamic State operation here in Germany. Other countries, of course, have seen more deadly IS incidents. Well, where does IS get its newest recruits from, and what better way to find out than to go online and pose as a potential recruit? My guest tonight did just that, and what he discovered is rather chilling and troubling. I'm happy to welcome here to the big table Björn Stritzel. Björn has published a series of articles in Germany's biggest-selling newspaper, Bild. He documents, I'll show it right here, Björn, for everybody to see. It's in German, but it was on the cover. I mean, he documents months of conversations with IS handlers in which he offers himself as a suicide attacker. Björn, welcome to the day. How did you get the attention of IS to begin with?
Well, it was in summer last year after two attacks in Germany, in Würzburg and Ansbach, happened within a week, where 2 ISIS terrorists attacked people. They didn't kill anybody, but shortly afterwards, a so-called Islamic State's news agency, Amaq, published 2 martyrdom videos of these 2 attackers. Mm-hmm. And so I asked myself, how is it possible to send a video to Amaq? How is it possible to communicate with them? And I just asked exactly these questions in some chat rooms, in closed chat rooms, in Telegram. That's the preferred messaging app where they spread the propaganda. Mm-hmm. And I shortly got in contact with some instructors.
How long did it take before you got the first response?
I almost got it immediately.
Almost immediately.
Was immediately that people in these chat rooms I knew they were in direct contact with IS people, and they immediately replied to me. They knew what my question implied when I said, like, how can I send a video to Amaq? Mm-hmm. They knew it must be a martyrdom video, and they said, like, contact this guy, contact this guy.
And the German authorities, they were informed of this, right? So they were kind of looking over your shoulder, weren't they?
Well, yeah, of course, I informed the authorities about what's happening, and then, yeah.
And we've got some of the texts that you received from Islamic State. I mean, is that correct? We can say you were communicating with so-called Islamic State, correct?
Right, they were instructors.
They were instructors, all right. And we just want to go through a couple here. We've got one that's a text with instructions on how to communicate to the public about why you are attacking and killing. I want to show our viewers here. I'll read a little bit. Advice, don't mention, I am doing this because you are attacking us, or if you stop, we will stop, etc. It's better to be more forceful. For example, I'm doing this because the Caliph commanded me to attack the Crusaders and their citizens. Of course, you can mention something like, you think you can attack Muslims and you will be left untouched. The Muslims are one body, etc. But the whole idea that this is a purely political war is wrong. We kill them because we are ordered to by Allah, not because they attack us. And the only way for them basically to keep on living is what? To pay tax and convert.
Right.
I mean, that's an incredibly cynical message too that you got from IS.
Yes, and it's a message that's completely in line with their propaganda. That's why he was advising me. He was advising me about the text I'm going to use in my martyrdom video, so that I'm not using a message that's not in line with the official IS propaganda. That's why he said, like, you can use this, you can use this.
So it's like corporate branding in a way, right? Stick with the message. Right. Amazing. The attacker at the Christmas market attacker here in Berlin, he prepared a video, correct? We've been analyzing that video. Was that in line with what you were told?
It was, yeah, right. It's almost completely in line. I mean,
We're looking at pictures of it right now. Yeah. So it's in line with what you were told?
Yeah, definitely. It's he's saying the basic points. Yeah, we're coming to slaughter you. He said, like, we're going to slaughter you pigs and so on. And so they have some creativity that they can use some of their own words. But he's basically in line with the IS propaganda.
Okay. Just this week, on Monday, we reported on Linda W., who is the German girl who left Eastern Germany. She ran away from home to Iraq to join IS. Would you say, based on your experiences, we've got a picture of her here with her eyes, pixelated, is this the typical young person that these instructors are trying to find online when they're looking for new recruits?
Kind of, I think she might not be the person to execute an attack. Even though we had a similar case where in Germany where a 16-year-old girl stabbed a policeman in the neck.
Well, you say she wouldn't be the type. Why? Because she's a girl.
Yeah, and also what we knew about her, she was not very skillful. I mean, she also most likely had an instructor who told her how to purchase a ticket to Istanbul, yeah, and so on. So she was guided every step. But I think it would have been difficult to guide her into a real attack. Just not because of radicalization issues, but because of her skills.
Did you get the feeling when you contacted these IS instructors, did they try to feel you out? Did they try to see if you were authentic, if you were legit? Or did they have filters to see if you were fake?
They actually didn't try to see if I'm real. They pushed me for a video, but at one point, one of the German instructors said, "Look, Achi, brother, it's okay. You don't have to send a video. Just do the operation." And we knew it was you because we already got your text and so on. So. They trusted me definitely at one point because they told me things they wouldn't tell in public, and so yeah, I think they didn't do any background checks.
So there's no background checks and no filtering. So they're just taking what approaches them.
Right, because okay. I mean they don't waste any resources on me or on other attackers on this kind of attacks. They have their own plannings when they like the attacks that we saw in Paris and Brussels. Yeah. They were very different from these instructed attacks, and I think they regard them as more as their own attacks than instructing some people like me.
We've got a couple of more of the texts that you received. We want to show our viewers. These are instructions to you about the final planning. And it reads, okay, remember, don't plan too much. I mean, once the basic idea is made, the important thing is that you put your trust in Allah and go forth in His cause. Your video, if sent to me, will reach exactly where it needs to go. If it is already ready, send it now so that you don't have to worry about that later. So that's an interesting point there. They're going to take care of the logistics with the video. And then this one reads, okay, please be very careful, take precautions, and be quick to operate. The more time you take, the more chances there are for failure. May Allah guide your steps and make you successful in this life and, of course, the afterlife. So they're telling you, basically, don't spend too much time on trying to make this perfect.
Right.
Basically, just kill.
Definitely.
Is that the message?
Right, it is, and I mean they have a good point because from an operational standpoint of view, of course, the more you plan, the more time you need, the more complex the attack is, the more time there is for authorities to find out about this attack. So they are right about this. But there's another thing that they didn't tell me. Of course, they wanted to push me to do it as quick as possible before I change my mind. That's also.
Could you sense that they were afraid that you would change your mind?
Definitely, because they were pushing like for a few days, and when they I think they assumed that I'm hesitating or I'm trying to find excuses about the attack. They were not responding for weeks. Then they were coming back after a while, but
okay. Do you have a suspicion or have an idea of who it was that was on the other end that you were communicating with?
Well, there were several people. But
I mean,
in what, yeah.
yeah.
In
Have
one
you ever seen
case-
pictures of them, or
No. But I got other hints and very strong indications that at least one of the German guys, or German-speaking guys, is in fact Austrian jihadi Mohammed Mahmoud. He's a very notorious jihadi. Yeah, we see him in an old picture there.
Is that the guy we're looking at right now?
Right, yeah, but it's an old pic in a picture in Germany.
He has a cat in his lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unusual for jihadis, especially for ISIS fighters. They embrace cats. They show themselves with cats and because, yeah, it's.
Why cats, though? I mean, I guess cats don't make me think that you're going to be a bad guy and kill somebody.
Well, that's actually an image they want to portray, and to show also that they have a soft side, and it's also that it's said that the Prophet Muhammad also loved cats, so it's Islamically correct.
So that's the connection. All right. Well, Björn Stritzel, a journalist with Bild newspaper here in Germany. Thank you very much. We appreciate you sharing your story with us, and we're glad it was just a fake try. Thank you very much.
Thanks.